Why chosen ones? Can't trust God people vertical bar spiritual awakening. Every great spiritual awakening begins with a courageous act of doubt. Helena York. Have you ever felt a unique call to explore the spiritual realm, one that seems to guide you away from traditional paths and towards something profoundly personal? In this exploration of spiritual awakening, we delve into why those often termed as chosen ones might find it difficult to align with God people, individuals deeply rooted in established religious doctrines. This journey is not about critiquing faiths, but understanding the dynamics of trust within spiritual communities. The term chosen ones is quite fascinating. It refers to individuals who feel an extraordinary sense of purpose, often linked to a profound spiritual awakening. These are the people who sense that their life has a unique mission or purpose that doesn't necessarily fit within the traditional religious frameworks. On the other hand, God people represent those who are integrally connected to established religious institutions and practices. They often adhere strictly to the doctrines and rituals that have been passed down through generations. The contrast between chosen ones and God people can be stark. Chosen ones often seek spiritual experiences that are deeply personal and may not align with organized religion's collective practices. They tend to question, explore, and often redefine beliefs to resonate with their personal spiritual experiences. In contrast, God people usually find comfort and community in the rituals and teachings that have been endorsed by their religious groups, finding stability in the shared beliefs and practices. Understanding the historical context of spiritual awakenings and the emergence of reformative thinkers provides a backdrop against which the modern-day friction between chosen ones and God people can be better understood. Throughout history, many spiritual movements have begun as reactions to the perceived rigidity of organized religious practices. These movements often start with individuals or small groups who feel a disconnect with mainstream religious teachings and seek a more direct or personal connection with spirituality. For instance, many reformative figures in history began their journeys feeling constrained by the established religious norms of their times. They sought a purer, more direct experience or understanding of the divine, which often led to significant religious transformations and sometimes the founding of new religious movements. These historical episodes show us that the friction between the need for personal spiritual authenticity and established religious practices is not new. Each period of significant religious change was initially met with resistance, misunderstanding, and often conflict. However, these periods also led to profound transformations within the religious landscapes, highlighting the dynamic nature of faith and spirituality. As we reflect on these historical contexts, it becomes clear that the journey of the chosen ones is a recurring theme in spiritual history. It is a journey towards a deeper, more personal communion with the spiritual realm, which often challenges the status quo of established religious practices. Now let's have a look into the area of psychological influences. It's important to consider how trust and authority play pivotal roles in the dynamics between chosen ones and God people. Trust in authority figures or institutions in religious settings is deeply ingrained from a young age for many. However, as individuals awaken spiritually in their own unique ways, this trust can be challenged. The chosen ones often embark on a journey where personal experience holds more validity than external authority. This shift can create a psychological tension between the internal urge for spiritual autonomy and the external pressure to conform to established religious norms. This tension is further complicated by the contrasting needs for individual and collective experiences in spiritual practice. Traditional religious settings usually emphasize the collective, participating in rituals, teachings, and community activities. However, Those experiencing a personal spiritual awakening may seek solitude and introspection, favoring individual experiences that allow for personal reflection and direct interaction with the divine, free from the mediating influence of established doctrines. This divergence not only impacts their trust in God people, but also influences their broader spiritual and social interactions, fostering a sense of isolation or misunderstanding. The theme of control versus freedom emerges as a central conflict in the journey of the chosen ones. Organized religions, with their structured doctrines and hierarchical systems, often emphasize control over beliefs, practices, and even the spiritual experiences of their adherents. This control is not necessarily malevolent. It can provide a sense of order and community. However, for chosen ones who experience their spiritual callings as deeply personal and not easily confined within pre-established parameters, such control can feel limiting and stifling. As these individuals seek spiritual freedom, they often find themselves at odds with the controlled environments of traditional religious practices. This search for freedom is not just about rejecting authority, but about discovering a spiritual path that resonates more deeply with their personal experiences and convictions. They seek a spirituality that is not dictated by rigid guidelines, but one that evolves and grows with their personal insights and experiences. For chosen ones, the concept of spiritual freedom is tied to authenticity. They desire a form of spiritual expression that is true to their inner experiences and feelings, a practice that they can shape according to their own spiritual insights, rather than adapting to a prescribed set of beliefs or rituals. This desire often leads them to create or adopt new forms of spiritual practice that are more flexible and inclusive of diverse experiences and perspectives. Every chosen one has a great desire to be authentic in their spiritual journey. In this context, authenticity is defined as a genuine congruence of one's external activities and beliefs with their inside spiritual experiences. Many people feel that the imposed rituals and teachings of conventional faiths do not correspond with their personal spiritual realities. Instead, they feel more like inherited traditions. Because of this, chosen ones frequently find themselves turning away from conventional traditions in favor of a spirituality that aligns with their own unique learnings and insights. The desire for authenticity pushes chosen ones to investigate spirituality outside of traditional frameworks. The goal of this exploration is to find a spiritual expression that truly expresses their individual sense of the divine, not just a new form of worship. It is impossible to overstate the importance of this authenticity. It is what gives their spiritual journey meaning. But this quest can cause one to feel cut off from God people who can see conventional ways as both legitimate and necessary for a spiritual life. The divergence in views and practices inevitably leads to conflicts and challenges, both internally for the chosen ones and externally in their interactions with God people. Internally, chosen ones often grapple with doubt and loneliness. Doubt arises as they question not only the religious norms they were taught, but also their new path. Is it valid? Is it true? These questions are a natural part of the journey towards spiritual authenticity that can be deeply unsettling. Externally, the challenges often manifest in interpersonal relationships. Chosen ones may find themselves at odds with family and friends who adhere to traditional religious views. These relationships can become strained as chosen ones move away from shared practices and beliefs, leading to misunderstandings and sometimes even estrangement. The reaction from God people can also be one of defensiveness or dismissal, viewing the chosen one's search for a different spiritual path as a rejection of their shared heritage and beliefs. These conflicts, though painful, are a crucial part of the spiritual evolution of chosen ones. they force a deeper examination of both the self and the spiritual beliefs that shape their lives. This process, while challenging, is essential for growth and the establishment of a spiritual path that is truly reflective of one's personal beliefs and experiences. In the journey of the chosen ones, the role of dogma and doctrine cannot be overlooked. Dogma refers to the established beliefs considered to be the absolute truth by religious institutions, beliefs that members are generally expected not to question. Doctrine, similarly, includes the whole body of teachings and directives endorsed by these religious bodies. For chosen ones, these elements often represent the rigid frameworks they find themselves questioning as they seek a more personal connection with spirituality. This questioning is not a simple act of rebellion, but a deep need to understand and connect with the divine in a way that feels true and meaningful personally. Chosen ones often feel that dogma restricts their spiritual exploration, dictating the terms and limits of what is considered acceptable. This restrictive nature can lead to a disconnect, pushing them to seek or develop beliefs that allow for a broader, more inclusive understanding of spirituality. As chosen ones diverge from these established doctrines, they not only redefine their spiritual beliefs, but also challenge the status quo, sometimes leading to significant shifts in their spiritual communities. This process is both liberating and daunting, as it involves re-examining deeply held beliefs and often facing significant opposition from those who uphold traditional views. Despite the challenges, the paths of chosen ones and God people do not have to lead to permanent separation. There are numerous stories, though often less highlighted, where a balance is achieved, a mutual respect for differing paths that leads to a richer, more diverse spiritual community. These stories are essential as they provide hope and a roadmap for reconciliation and understanding. In some cases, chosen ones find ways to integrate new insights into traditional settings, enriching the original practices with new meanings and perspectives. Conversely, some God people may become more open to the personal spiritual explorations of chosen ones, finding their faith enriched by these fresh perspectives. This mutual enrichment can lead to a vibrant community where diversity of belief and practice is seen not as a threat, but as an opportunity for deeper understanding and spiritual growth. Both separation and unity are part of the spiritual landscape. By acknowledging and discussing these outcomes, communities can navigate the complexities of faith with greater empathy and insight. It allows for a dialogue that is not about converting or convincing, but about understanding and appreciating the diverse ways people connect with the divine. Going through relationships between chosen ones and God people requires tact, understanding, and a significant amount of patience. As chosen ones continue to explore and define their spiritual beliefs, the potential for misunderstanding or conflict with God people who may hold traditional views remains high. To foster peaceful and constructive interactions, it's crucial to focus on dialogue that emphasizes respect and mutual understanding. One effective approach for chosen ones is to communicate their spiritual explorations in a way that focuses on personal growth and discovery, rather than as a critique of traditional beliefs. This framing helps prevent defensive reactions and opens the door for more open and honest discussions. For God people, being receptive to listening and considering different perspectives without feeling threatened is equally important. This receptiveness can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for learning and growth on both sides. Practical strategies like setting clear boundaries, agreeing to disagree on certain topics, and focusing on shared values can greatly enhance these interactions. It's about finding common ground where dialogue can occur, whether it's a shared belief in the importance of spirituality, a common desire for community, or mutual respect for each other's journey. Encouraging dialogue between chosen ones and God people is vital for creating a more inclusive and understanding spiritual community. This dialogue should not only occur at an individual level, but also as part of wider community interactions. Workshops, interfaith meetings, and community dialogues can be powerful platforms for this exchange. Creating spaces where people feel safe to express their beliefs and questions without judgment encourages openness and trust. These spaces can be facilitated by leaders from various faith backgrounds who model respectful listening and sharing. The aim is to create a community dynamic that values diversity and sees it as a strength rather than a division. The promotion of dialogue extends to online platforms and social media, where discussions can often become polarized. Encouraging respectful and thoughtful interactions in these spaces can help spread the message of unity and understanding beyond local communities to a global audience. Throughout this video, we have looked into why chosen ones might struggle to trust God people, highlighting the psychological, thematic, and practical dimensions of this dynamic. By understanding these complexities, individuals on both sides of the spectrum can better navigate their relationships, embracing differences while finding common ground. This journey isn't about erasing diversity, but about enriching our spiritual lives with a broader palette of experiences and perspectives. Let us move forward with an open heart and an open mind, ready to learn from each other and grow together in our spiritual quests.